Boyfriend of 2 years picked friend over me. Advice? I am ashamed but I really need some advice. I've 20F been with my now ex-boyfriend, 25M, for 2 years. We've had a rocky relationship but I feel like we've both grown as partners. Currently he's in prison, but this starts before that. He had a girl, best friend, who he would put before me in the past. He would ditch me for her and always tried to make it a competition. They had a FWB sexual relationship before he met me. It almost caused a huge break-up and it left me with a lot of trauma and insecurity. Somehow we managed to move on from that and he promised he'd never do this again. Then he went to prison for a year. I've been constantly there for him, picking up his calls and sending him photos. His girl best friend ditched him and hasn't reached out to him at all. As for our relationship, it seemed we had grown so much with each other and became more connected now than ever. I really thought he had changed for me. He promised me. However, it came out that after an argument he called her and she picked up finally and now everything's changed. He told me she flirted with him and said she loves him and he said it's not bad to hear her voice. When he told me this I broke down and in a moment of vulnerability I told him me or her. I begged him to not speak to her again and it always ruins our relationship. He said he picked me but then he said he won't stop speaking to her. So he chose her. I told him I can't be with him if he won't set this boundary for me. He flipped out and said really horrible things to me and then hung up. I told him he'd never hear from me again. I blocked him at that moment and it's been a few days. I've been crying and picking myself up. What's stung since then is that his mother, who I'm really close to, has followed his girl best friend on social media. It just hurts. What I know is when this girl stops picking up for him, she has a history of ditching, he will try come back to me. Please give me advice or share stories on how I can put this to rest for good. I know I am really stupid, I feel so ashamed but I was so in love. Edit. Thank you everyone who's commented, even the blunt ones. I've read every comment and am taking the time to take all the advice to heart. I really appreciate all the nice words. Block them all. This is actually why I hate social media. Do not check in with them. Do not pick up his or his mom's phone calls. Do not respond to texts or messages regarding them. Mourn the loss of what you think you had, but bury it and move on. You are better than all of that. Your ex-boyfriend is trash. He is not only in prison, useless trash. He is a bit of a cheater, filthy trash. And he picked a FWB friend over you, dumb trash. Your mantra is, we toss trash out, it belongs in the dumpster. I do not dumpster dive for man trash. You block him, unfollow him. He and his choices have made him dead to you. We don't resurrect the dead, we are not necromancer. We don't speak to the dead, they stay buried where they belong. If you block him, he can't call you. Stop following his family or friends. Just move on. Come on, surely you are better than him? Yes you are. Girlfriend, 26F. Linking arms and walking with my 25M close friend. So, my girlfriend came to the pub to meet my mates for the first time the other night. Generally went great and was a lot of fun. We left to go get food. I said I'm just running to the corner shop to get some cigs whilst my girlfriend was with my other 2 friends. We'll call them John and Mike. As I left the corner shop, I saw my girlfriend and John linking arms with each other walking toward me. Mike was stood with them. As I came out she let go of John's arm and ran over to me. I have said to her I didn't like it because long story short my ex-girlfriend cheated on me with my best friend. I found out and lost her and all of my old friendship group, so I have some weird issue with my girlfriends getting close like that to my close friends now. She said it was nothing, they linked arms crossing the road and just kept doing it, not in a malicious way. He has a girlfriend. For some reason this has really bothered me. Would you be at all bothered by it, or am I being insanely insecure? It sounds like seeing this triggered past trauma for you. It makes complete sense you would have adverse feelings to this. If it's a boundary for you, draw it and move forward from there. If you truly trust your girlfriend and her word, which you should unless she's given you any other reason not to, then you know this is an internal issue you have to work out with yourself. Not necessarily alone though. If one of my friends GFs did this to me the first time we met, I would be uncomfortable. You should tell her again how uncomfortable this makes you and tell her that it's nothing to you. If she agrees to respect your boundaries, then that's great. If she belittles your feelings, then you know how she's always gonna treat you. My boyfriend's parents won't let him spend Christmas with my family. My boyfriend, 22, and me, 22, have been together for 7 years. Our parents don't live in the same country and I live in the country my boyfriend and his parents live in. For the first time in 7 years my parents and myself invited my boyfriend to spend Christmas with us. And my boyfriend happily purchased his flights. We were all super excited before the fact. But tonight my boyfriend told his parents he would be spending Christmas with my family and myself and they were extremely pissed off. I understand that they want to spend Christmas with him, but after 7 years together and since we don't get to see my family a lot since they live far away, I really wanted to spend Christmas with them and my boyfriend. What should we do in this situation? His parents want him to cancel the flight and if we do we would lose the money because there are no changes and my parents would be so sad since they were beyond excited because we were going. I truly am so sad and pissed off because I thought they would be more understanding since we barely get to see my family. What should we do? He is 22 years old. He can board a flight and go wherever he wants. You're both adults. You can do what you want at Christmas. Honestly, he's a grown-up and this is an important milestone in your relationship. He needs to do this if he's at all serious about you two being together long-term. And he needs to, as an adult, set boundaries around his parents' unreasonable demands. And it's unreasonable to expect him to never spend a holiday with his partner's family, or to cancel expensive reservations because they think they own him. This should be a telling moment in your relationship. If he can't stand up for you now, he'll never stand up for you. What country do you live in where a 22-year-old has to listen to mommy and daddy still? Your boyfriend needs to set some boundaries and go spend a Christmas with your family. This shouldn't be negotiable or even be open to debate. He needs to tell his parents to back off. My sister, 25F, and I, 22M, inherited money and it's causing a rift. I'll try to keep the situation short. My grandma died last month. She willed nearly all her savings to my sister and me to pay for our education, which was stipulated in the will. To my knowledge, the money must go to pay off our student loan debt. Though I'm not a legal expert by any means. The problem comes here. The amount that we inherited was about $150,000 each. Not a life-changing amount of money, but far more than our respective debts. I don't know about my sister, but I'm left over with a little under $100,000 cash. Many of my cousins, aunts, and uncles are irate, as most of them were left with only small possessions rather than cash. My grandma was a librarian and very big on education. My sister and I were the first and only in our family to go to college, aside from my dad who has no loans. The family is fine with my grandma's wishes to pay off our loan debt, but they want a cut of the leftover money. They contend that my grandma didn't know that our student loan debt was so much less than the money she left us. And I do think they have a point. Had she had known this, she may have left us only the amount needed to pay our loans and the remainder would have gone elsewhere. But I'm not sure and, if so, to whom she would have left the money. Should I split the money up to keep the peace? If not, how should I approach them? We're a relatively close family and we've never had a rift like this. I really want to preserve our relationships, especially my dad's relationship with his brothers and sisters. This isn't his fault and I feel bad he's caught in the middle. I think your grandma actually did know, and set her will up this way in order to protect you and your sister. Think about it. They all didn't get money, but you and your sister did? From my perspective, that indicates she does not trust them with money and feels it'd be of much better use to you and your sister. You both got your education, which you said she holds in high value, so she wants you both to have a successful start post-graduation as well, aka no debt and then some. No one is entitled to that money except you and your sister. You do not have to do anything. Nope, keep it. They are just angry they didn't get any money, thus being selfish. It's one of my biggest peeves with family inheritances, deaths. That's when people get ugly. Keep it and put it away for future needs.